Welcome back. All right, so 9 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Pretty busy night. The early games, there was a lot of early games, so did my best. And yeah, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. We're going to start off with St. Louis and against the Ottawa Senators. So the Senators, and this is the first time I've had that magnet up there. That's their current logo and all that. It's not an old one. And they didn't play up to it. So it's Husso versus Murray in this one. Paul has a chance that's saved early on. Buchnevich blasts one wide from the slot. The Blues press at 9 minutes. So they were getting opportunities. Murray saves a chance for Falk. The shots are 7-2 for the Blues with 8.5 minutes left. They would score at 13:20. It's Shen from O'Reilly. The next shift we saw rushes both ways. Both teams getting opportunities there. Sens get a power play and they score on it. It's Stützle from Tkachuk and Brandstrom at 16:27. And then in the last minute, there's a press by the Sens. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. The Blues get a power play early on, and they score on it. It's Tarasenko from Buchnevich and Thomas at 2:15. The Blues then press for another. There's a near miss by Barbashev. Thomas doesn't miss. He scores from Tarasenko and Buchnevich at 5:34. That line was dynamite tonight, so that makes it 3-1. To their credit, Ottawa answers. It's Kelly from Brandstrom at 6:53. Brown then has a rush chance. That was saved. The Blues get a power play. It becomes a 5-on-3. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off. And Barbashev gets stung on a shot block. He would return, though. So we go to the third period with the score 3-2 in favor of St. Louis. Blues press at 2 minutes. Falk has a chance that's saved. There's a power play for the Sens. It becomes a 5-on-3. So multiple 5-on-3s in this game. Stützle would hit the post. Barbashev was denied out of the box. And they killed off the other penalty after that as well. Blues press at 7 minutes. They get themselves a power play. They don't score on it, but after it's done, it's Sundqvist scoring from Costin and Falk at 10 minutes. So exactly halfway through the period, they make it 4-2. Gambrella's a rush chance that's saved. Eventually, Ottawa pulls the goalie, looking to get within 1. And instead, Tarasenko makes it a 3-goal lead from Thomas and Buchnevich at 17:49 into the empty net. Your final score is 5-2. St. Louis goes to 28-14-5. Ottawa drops to 17-25-4 with the loss. Your 3 stars, Tarasenko, Buchnevich, and Thomas. Shots, 14-7 St. Louis in the first, 8-6 St. Louis in the second, 14-7 St. Louis again in the third. Final shots, 36-20 for the Blues. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 4. Hits, 19-17 for Ottawa. Husso saves 18 out of 20. Murray saves 27 out of 35. Forsberg in relief saves all 4 shots he faces. So for Murray, statistically, it's not one of his better games considering how he's been in recent weeks, but it's St. Louis. St. Louis is able to do this. So we shall see next game whether or not this is a pattern for Ottawa or if it's just St. Louis is this good. We shall find out. All right, next up. Philadelphia and against Pittsburgh. And you know what? They got me again. Philadelphia does this. They get me. Where every now and then I'm like, you know what? Then maybe they're going to... Oh, I forgot they were Philly. So it's Hart versus DeSmith. Maybe they forget they're Philly sometimes. Atkinson with a rush chance. That saved the Flyers. Breaking up Penguins' chances. Played very well to start things off. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. Rust had a rush chance that was broken up. The Penguins would press after that, however. Sid was upset that the Flyers' net was getting knocked off a little bit easy for his liking. And then Giroux would open the scoring from Atkinson and Lindblom at 13:47. So they get the lead, and it doesn't last. It's Simone scoring from Pettersson and Boyle at 14:09. So that lead lasts about 18 seconds. So the Flyers try to answer. The Penguins rush after that. The Penguins get themselves a power play, and they score on it. And it's Sid the Kid. Crosby scores. The bench empties out. That's goal number 500 for Sidney Crosby. Malkin with the assist at 16:34. It was a nice moment. Nice team celebration. Makes it 2-1 in favor of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Second period. Philadelphia ties it. First, it's Lawton at 57 seconds. The Penguins press. They get a power play. The Flyers did kill it off. Konechny then has a rush chance that wouldn't go. There's a press by the Penguins at 7.5 minutes. Letang and Heinen have shots that are saved. Crosby with a net drive, he loses the handle on that. And then Sealer with his first goal of the year. He scores from Konechny and Van Riemsdyk at 10:43. So that makes it a 3-2 lead for Philly, which is unexpected. Kapanen then had a net drive that was saved. He's been snake bit lately. Flyers get a power play. That's killed off. Sanheim was denied right after it ends. There's a press by the Penguins with 3.5 minutes left, and Hart makes some saves. And then at 17:09, it's Braun scoring to make it 4-2 for Philly from Van Riemsdyk and Lawton. So it's 4-2 for Philly after 2, third period. Penguins get a power play. It becomes 4-on-4 for 1:55 seconds. So their power play lasted 5 seconds. They weren't happy about that. That's as everything gets killed off. The Flyers were controlling it. In fact, 8.5 minutes into the third, the shots were 3-2 for the Flyers. To me, it looked like they could hang on in this, which is weird, right? The fans said there were too many Flyers on the ice. The referee did not agree. Penguins do get a power play shortly thereafter, though, and Gensel scores on it from Letang and Crosby at 12:36. No reason to panic if you're Philly. You're still up by 1. Oh, wait. While I was saying that, they scored again. It's Ruedel with his first of the year from Heinen and Carter at 12:54, so 18 seconds between those two goals, and Philadelphia once again have blown a lead. Flyers get a power play. That's killed off, so we go to overtime. Takes 30 seconds. 31 seconds in, Letang gets the goal. It was a no-look shot, too. It was pretty. It's one of those ones where he fakes out the goalie in the defense, and Letang gets the goal. So Pittsburgh comes back and wins this one 5-4 in overtime. They go to 31-11-8 with the win. For the Flyers, they're 15-24-9 with the overtime loss. 3 stars in this one. Crosby, of course, with his 500th. Letang and Gensel, second and third stars. Yes, it does mean a Sid the Kid video is on the way. Shots, 9-7 Pittsburgh in the first, 18-13 Pittsburgh in the second, 7-6 Philly in the third. Pittsburgh gets the only shot in the overtime. It's the one that matters. Final shots, 34-27 for the Penguins. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-4, Pittsburgh 2-4. That's your game. Hits, 20-17 for Pittsburgh. Hart saves 29 out of 34. DeSmith saves 23 out of 27. DeSmith didn't have a fantastic game, but they bailed him out. So, for Pittsburgh, that's 4 wins in a row, I do believe. And we'll see if things continue. They have one more game for the rest of this week against Toronto. It is a weird time, and that some teams are playing a lot over these 3 weeks, and some are barely playing at all. So it definitely is going to make a difference to how these races look at the end of this 3-week period. All right, next up, Islanders must-win games, right? For the New York Islanders, they're playing these games now that they have in hand on everybody else, and they're blowing it. There's really no other way to look at this. They're just flat out blowing it. It's Sorokin versus Tokarski in this one. Early press by the Islanders, but the shots are 4-2 for the Sabres 4.5 minutes in. The Islanders press at 8 minutes, but at 10:53 it's Okposo with a nice goal from Fitzgerald and Eakin. The Islanders would press to answer, and they do. Palmieri gets his second of the season from Beauvillier and Aho at 12:06. The Sabres would press with 6.5 minutes left. Skinner has a rush chance that's saved. Nelson was denied from in close. It's 1-1 after the first period. Second period. Early Islanders power play. There's a crossbar for Dobson, and then puck goes the other way. Thompson from Cousins, shorthanded at 1:36, and it's all Tage Thompson. If you could give him a goal and an assist on the same play, this is where I would do it. So that makes it a 2-1 lead. And then the Sabres killed off the rest. In fact, the Sabres are out shooting the Islanders 6-1, 7 minutes into the second period. However, Lee scores from Chara and Barzal at 7 minutes and 11 seconds of the second period. Sabres try to answer, but the Islanders get a power play shortly after that. There's a post for Parise. The Islanders miss an open net after. The Islanders kill it off. And by miss the open net, I mean that Dahlin makes a save. Which, I mean, when the defenseman saves it, there's 2 things going on there. 1, really nice save by the defenseman, and 2, probably should get that in there if you're the forward. So Bailey then gets denied by Tokarski. Sabres end up getting themselves a power play. Asplund has a tip shot that's saved. The Islanders did kill it off. The Sabres get another power play. This one they score on. It's Tuck at 19:59. There were 0.6 seconds left from Krebs and Dahlin. So the Sabres get a lead, 3-2 after 2. Third period. Islanders had an early press. Olofsson with a turnover. Tokarski saves during that. And then Palmieri gets the second goal of the game from Leon Dobson at 9:56. So, it's a tie game. The shots are even with 3 minutes left at 9 apiece. But at 17:05, it's Olofsson, who's been struggling in recent weeks. He scores from Krebs and Cousins at 17:05. So Peyton Krebs is making a very good impression on his new teammates. The goalie gets pulled with 2 minutes left. Well, that allows empty netters. First, it's Yoki Haru from Tuck at 18:55, so Tuck with a goal and an assist. And then Olofsson gets the second goal of the game into the empty net as well from Cousins at 19:34. Buffalo wins 6-3. Again, a game the Islanders desperately need. They don't get it. They're 17-20-6. The Buffalo Sabres 16-24-8 with the win. So the Islanders are definitely into territory now where it's like, okay, it's playoffs are gone. What are you going to do if you're Lou Lamoriello? 3 stars in this one. Olofsson, Tuck, and Thompson. Shots 12-10 Buffalo in the first, 17-12 Buffalo in the second, 12-11 Buffalo in the third. Not very Islander-like numbers. They get outshot 41-33 by the Sabres. Power plays, the Islanders 0 for 2, Buffalo 1 for 2. Hits 17-9 for the Islanders, so not a very physical game. Sorokin saves 35 out of 39. Tokarski saves 30 out of 33. Good game for Tokarski. It's great to see some of these goalies who've either been in the minors for years or some of these young guys coming up and getting a chance this year to show what they can do. So nice to see Tokarski getting that chance. Next up, last up on this board, Tampa Bay and the New Jersey Devils. So here the Flyers seem to remember in the third period that they're the Flyers. And at some point, the New Jersey Devils, I think it's inexperience as much as anything else with New Jersey. So it's Vasilevsky versus Gillies, and they were wearing the jersey, which is Jersey's third jersey, which says Jersey on the jersey. So Subban has a chance that's blocked as the Devils press. If I say that word enough, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So the Devils were limiting the Bolts early, and then they score first. It's Mercer at 8:27, so they've got a 1-goal lead. It doesn't last. There's a turnover in the New Jersey zone. Maroon would bury it from Belmar and Perry at 9:05. So that ties it up at 1. And then Kucherov's denied the next shift. So this is where the momentum feels like it's going towards Tampa, but it really doesn't. New Jersey wrestles that back. 9 combined shots for these teams with 3.5 minutes left. And then Subban is a blast that deflects wide. The Devils would press. Net feed to Mercer was a near miss. And then at 19:04, Sharon Govich gets a goal from Tatar and Mercer. So a goal and an assist for Mercer in the first period, and the Devils are up 2-1. Second period at 1:48, and again, it's a turnover by Tampa. Not very Tampa-like behavior. Hughes scores from Mercer. So Dawson Mercer getting some turnovers and getting some opportunities. And at 1:48 of the period, Mercer has his 3rd point of the game. It's the first time in his career he's had 3 points in a game. Kudos to him for that. Bolts pressed to answer. The Devils were shot blocking and hitting. Power play for the Bolts with 9:51 left. That gets killed off. The Devils get a power play. That's killed off by the Bolts. And then they start rolling. First, it's Stamkos from Kucherov and Ruda at 15:32. That was posting in. It's that infamous post. It's a little different when it rings off the post and comes out than when it rings off the post and goes in. It's just a little different of a noise. And then Killorn scores from Sergachev and Hedman at 16:13. So about 40 seconds between the goals. And suddenly you've got yourself a tie game. Kucherov nearly adds another right after that. So it's 3-3 after 2, but you get the feeling the momentum now as well with Tampa. Third period, early press by the Devils. Tatar has a rush chance. That's saved. The Bolts press at 6.5 minutes, and they get a goal. At 7:17, it's Hedman from Perry and Belmar. So that makes it 4-3. Devils try to answer. However, Kucherov would score from point at 9:14, and then at 10:21, Belmar scores from Perry. And it felt like there was a mercy pull at that point for Gillies. There was some fisticuffs towards the end, including an actual fight between Sergachev and Severson. But your final score is 6-3 for Tampa. They go to 32-11-6. And for New Jersey, they are 17-28-5. The 3 stars, Hedman, Kucherov, and Mercer. Shots 9-4 New Jersey in the first, 14-7 Tampa Bay in the second, 14-9 Tampa Bay in the third. Final shots, Tampa Bay does outshoot them 32-25. Power plays, Tampa 0 for 1, New Jersey 1 for 3. Hits 20-16 for Tampa. Vasilevsky 22 saves on 25 shots. Gillies 24 saves on 30 shots. And then Dawes in relief saves 2 shots that he faced. So kind of a rough night in the end for New Jersey. But again, you got to pick up the positives. Mercer with the 3-point game. Hughes looked good in the first period and a bit. And again, for New Jersey, it's been playing for next year for a while. That being said, I'm going to the next board. All right, so Boston and the New York Rangers. This ended up being a pretty good game. There was some good switches and momentum in this game, and it ended up being pretty darned entertaining. Even the shootout, which normally I find kind of tedious, I thought the shootout was kind of entertaining in this one. So it was Swayman versus Shesterkin in this one. Hall with a near miss on a rebound. But Coyle opens the scoring from Craig Smith at 3:39. And then the Bruins press for another very good start to the game for Boston. Rangers would press at 6 minutes. They're not getting shots, though. Reeves was throwing hits, gets the crowd going a little bit. You could see he was trying to fire up his team. Bruins were giving the Rangers very little room out on the ice. In the last minute, there was a press by the Rangers, which again did not yield shots on net. Without those shots on net, all that zone time, it doesn't really add up. Second period, Panarin's robbed the Rangers press, and immediately in that second period, it was a completely different show. Smith has a shot blocked by the Rangers. Rooney was denied on a net drive. And yeah, the Rangers really had the early jump in that period. Pastrnak misses wide on a chance. The Rangers press at 7 minutes. Bleed, fans on a one-timer. He had a great opportunity, just could not bury it. A net feed to Gaudreau wouldn't go. And in the last minute, the Rangers get some pressure. The Bruins clear it out. But we're going into the third. It's a one-goal game. And you get the feeling that the Bruins really need to lock this down, right? And they need to find a way to solve Shesterkin again. So early press by the Rangers in the third. The Bruins had a 3-on-1. Lindgren defended very well on that. Foligno has a shot deflect wide. Swayman hands one to Reeves, but the Bruins cleared it out. Trouba has a chance that's saved and held. Swayman not giving up rebounds. Jones has a shot deflect wide. And then Hedl. There were just so many Rangers chances at this point in the game. Hedl scores from Hunt and Schneider at 6:45. And yeah, it was just too many Rangers chances. Rangers then went for the lead. Hall has a break. Shesterkin robs him on that. Bruins press at the halfway mark. There's a power play for the Bruins. That's killed off. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 as well. With 3:28 left, the Rangers get a power play. That's killed off. In the closing seconds, there were chances for the Bruins. But we go to overtime. The Bruins control it on the faceoff. The Rangers get it. Fox sets it up. DeBrusk steals. A stretch pass was a miss there. Pasternak's denied on a 3-on-1. Rangers had a 2-on-1. Swayman saves there. Puck goes in, but the Bruins, it's waved off as no goal, and yeah, it shouldn't count. Offsetting calls with 2:12 left. Hall has a rush chance that's saved. What I thought was funny too with the offsetting calls was they had up top 3-on-3 for 2 minutes, and I'm like, well, yeah, you can't go to 2-on-2. So Shesterkin comes out and Georgiev goes in. The spotter pulls him because Shesterkin had gone down and the spotter felt that there was a need for him to go into concussion protocol. Shesterkin was not happy. He felt fine. He would come back for the shootout as well. So Zibanejad has a shot that's saved. Georgiev did not face a shot. So Boston had an opportunity there to maybe go down and you got a cold goaltender. It's a 3-on-3 overtime and try to wire one. They didn't get that. So you go to the shootout. It went to round 9. And it's Keandre Miller that gets the win. And he makes it look easy. What I love about shootout goals is when they go down the middle and they just make it look easy. And that's what Miller did. So the Rangers win it in the shootout. Again, in round 9, 2-1. The Rangers 31-13-4 with the single point. Boston's 27-16-4 now. So they do get a point, which is important because teams chasing them. You know, you've got to make sure you keep tagging up points here. 3 stars were Shesterkin, Miller, and Swayman. No argument with those. Shots 8-2 Boston in the first, 15-9 Rangers in the second, 12-11 Boston in the third, and in the overtime, 6-3 Rangers. In the 5 minutes of overtime, they had triple the shots they had in 20 minutes of the first period. Final shots 34-32 for the Rangers. Both teams had 1 power play, did not score on it. Hits 36-25 for the Rangers. Physical game. Swayman saves 33 out of 34. Shesterkin saves 31 out of 32. One of Swayman's best games, just Shesterkin's at the other end of the ice. So that's how that turns out. But again, Swayman's numbers have been pretty good over the last couple of games. We'll see if it stays there. All right. Next up, Capitals. Capitals in against Nashville. So it was Samsonov versus Saros. And Samsonov tonight made a very good argument that he should be the starter going forward. And who knows, maybe the Caps are ready to go on a bit of a run here. Early chance for the Preds. However, despite the early chances they had, Snively opens the scoring from Sherry and Orlov at 4:17. And it was a nice pass. Snively, it was easy for him to get the goal thanks to a nice pass from Sherry. But the shots are 4-2 for the Preds at 5 minutes, which would be the problem in this game, a very un-Nashville-like problem. Nashville is usually the team goaltending the other team, where the other team might have more opportunities, but Saros is great. And tonight it was kind of the other way around, where Samsonov is fantastic. Yeah, he's sharp. As with 7 minutes left, the Predators were pressing. Jeannot takes a puck off the ankle. He stays in the game. Trevor Van Riemsdyk had a chance to deflect out. In the last minute, there was a press by the Predators, and in the closing seconds, Granlund was denied. So we go to the second period with the Caps up 1-0, although Nashville outplayed them. Second period, Caps had the early press. There's then a rush chance for Duchesne that hits a post. Dowd has a chance that's saved and held. The Caps get a power play. That's killed off. Shot blocks really prominent for the Capitals at this point, as the shots at the halfway point of the second period are 8-1 for Washington. That would change in the second half. Predators get a power play. It's killed off. It had its opportunities, just could not solve Samsonov. So you go to the third. It's still 1-0 Capitals. Early press by Nashville. The Caps were at 5 defensemen because Schultz got hurt in this game and did not return. Samsonov saves on Cole Smith. Yossi with a net drive. And then McCarron breaks the shutout from Yossi and Fabro at 2:43. So tie game. Momentum's with Nashville. However, Washington scores after that. 3:27. It's Jensen from Hathaway and Hagelin. Then the Caps get a power play. The Caps' power play has been costing them games. Did not cost them this one. Ovechkin scores on the power play from Karlsson and Wilson at 4:43. That is goal number 760 for Ovechkin. I think we're at the point where I do need to start writing up how many goals he has for his career. Jeannot can't bury one as Samsonov holds. Shots were 6-2 for the Preds at 9 minutes. Capitals press with 9.5 minutes left. They're up 3-1 at this point. With 8:33 left, the Caps get a power play. The feed that I had was Nashville's, so on TV here, I'm just getting the feed now for the home teams, usually, although I had Nesson for this one. So, I don't, yeah, and early in the year, I had an option of both, but I just had the option of the one. I know if I really wanted to, I can load up the NHL Live and watch whichever feed I want. So, they were talking a lot about how the Caps were getting these power plays, and, you know, whether or not the Preds have a reputation. Yes. The Predators take a lot of penalties. And when you've got a goaltender playing as well as Saros has been, it really doesn't matter. But when that penalty kill slides at all, those penalties start to hurt. So the Preds did kill that one off, and then they got pressure after. Then there's a delay of game call with 3:53 left. The Preds get a power play. They did pull the goalie for 6-on-4. That power play's killed off. And then Ovechkin hits the empty net at 18:37. So after 6 games of not getting a goal, Ovechkin gets 2 tonight, including his 761st in his career. Your 3 stars in this 4-1 victory for the Caps, where they now are 27-15-9. The Predators 28-17-4. Your 3 stars are Ovechkin, Samsonov, and McCarron, with the single goal for Nashville. Shots 15-10 Nashville in the first, 10-8 Washington in the second, 11-8 Nashville in the third. Final shots 34-28 for the Preds. Power plays, Washington 1-for-4, Nashville 0-for-2. Hits 37-21 for Nashville. Samsonov 33 saves on 34 shots. Saros 24 saves on 27 shots. Entertaining game and a really important victory for the Capitals. The Capitals and the Bruins have been the teams that look like maybe could fall off and give a team like Columbus or Detroit some daylight and into getting into that playoff hunt. And so a win here, a point here, it's tough because when you're as far behind as some of these teams are, any points those teams get make that road a little more difficult. Next up, Columbus. So, speaking of Columbus, they go into Calgary tonight after losing 6-0 at home. And it's not as bad tonight, right? So it's Berzlikins versus Vladar, and at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it's Goodbranson from Lucic. And it's the second shot that the Flames had in this game. Shots were 6-4 for Columbus at 7 minutes. Jenner blasts one wide. Lindholm makes it 2-0 at 16:30. And then at 17:50, Boquist gets Columbus back into the game from Laine and Jenner. So Laine with an assist there. He keeps his point streak going. It's 2-1 Calgary after the first period. Second period, Ruzicka misses one wide. I'll say it again. I like the Ruzicka kid. I think he's a good player. Boquist with a net feed. That was blocked. There's a power play for the Flames. Elvis saves on Monahan. That power play's killed off. The Flames go back to the power play. Gaudreau had a net feed. That was defended. We get rushes both ways at 7.5 minutes. And it was a pretty good, pretty wide open period for Calgary. Columbus not so much, and it shows up on the scoreboard late in the period. It's Tkachuk from Lindholm and Gaudreau at 15:44 as Jack Roslovic. You gotta watch that puck around Calgary. They're just so lethal right now offensively. Columbus gets a power play with 1:39 left. If they can get a goal, then they can. Nope, shorthanded goal. It's Dubé from Mangiapane at 19:13. So instead of being 3-2 with a power play goal, it becomes 4-1 with a shorthanded goal, and we're going to the third. Flames press at 2.5 minutes. There was a close call for Tkachuk. He almost got another one. And then Ruzicka puts one through Elvis. It's another turnover by the defense. Lewis with the assist at 6:39. To their credit, Werenski would score to fight back a little bit from Nyquist and Corrali at 8:08. The Flames try to answer, and they do. It's Toffoli. His first game as a Flame. That 73 looks good on him in a Calgary jersey. I got to admit, it looks like it suits him. From Gaudreau at 11:04. Just sometimes when a player gets traded, it looks weird to see them in a new jersey. And for some reason with Toffoli, it looks right with him wearing Calgary. I don't know. We'll see. Chinakhov then fires one high. Columbus, they just weren't getting shots on net. And that's testament to the defense by the Calgary Flames. They win their 7th in a row, 6-2 over Columbus. 27-13-6 with the win. The Columbus Blue Jackets 23-23-1 overall. The 3 stars, Lindholm, Toffoli, and Dubé. So all Calgary. Shots 12 apiece in the first, 17-4 Calgary in the second, 12-4 Calgary in the third. They outshot them 41-20. Power plays 0-1 for Columbus, 0-2 for Calgary. Hits 17-10 for the Flames. So they out-hit them, they outshot them. Merzlikin saves 35 out of 41. Vladar saves 18 out of 20. He wasn't very busy. I think what's really impressed me with this winning streak, other than the fact it's 7 in a row, it's how Calgary's winning these games. They look so well organized and confident, and the defense, the goaltending, and the offense, it's all there. So we'll see how far they go with it. But if the playoffs started today, we would get a Battle of Alberta in the first round, and that'd make me happy. I don't care who'd win that. I'd just sit down with popcorn, and I'd be happy with that series. Get that guy, and get him too. Yeah, get him back. Yeah, you guys should all be angry with each other. This is great. All right, so the dream is alive. Speaking of which, the Dallas Stars in tonight's game. Sorry, I didn't have the score up there. That's been fixed. Maybe I was just in shock. This game really surprised me, and I've got the Ottinger on. Now, I was going to put on the Sidney Crosby jersey, but Ottinger convinced me, no, I'm going to wear Crosby tomorrow anyways for the video on Crosby's career where we get into all the nuts and bolts on how great Crosby's been for so long. Dallas. So it's Ottinger versus Francouz. If I could have just put Ottinger's face up here instead of a Dallas magnet, believe me, I would have done it. Burakovsky has a chance this block. There's an really early chance there's a lot of chances for the Avs early on. They had the edge. Glendening has a rush chance that was defended, so it doesn't get to the net. The shots are 4-0 for the Avs at 6.5 minutes. So I watched the last game between these teams, and I felt like this one looked a lot like the other one, which didn't end in the favor of the Dallas Stars. Power play for the Avs. Rantanen has a tip that's saved. That's killed off. Crisis averted. Newhook was then denied. Both goalies pretty sharp to this point in the game. With 2:19 left, the Stars get a power play, and they score on it. It's Pavelski from Robertson and Sagan at 18:24. Joe Pavelski's run this year has been absolutely miraculous. The Avs did try to answer, but they run out of time. So it's 1-0 Dallas after 1. Even though the shots, the chances, everything favors Colorado. Second period. Early chance for Dallas. The Avs then had a 2-on-1. Obey-Kubel's denied on that. Crossbar then for Klingberg. Taves had a rush chance. That was saved. And then at 4:26, it's Robertson making it 2-0 from Pavelski. Francouz had come out to play the puck, and it didn't go where he thought it was going to go, so he's trying to get back in. He wasn't quite set for that one, so Robertson puts it in the net, one of the easier goals he's going to get. And it's the second point of the game. And yeah, so pretty good night for Robertson. But then 5:12, so less than a minute later, McKinnon scores from Makar and Newhook. So Colorado doesn't let them just pull away and that's it and fold up their tents. The shots are 7-5 for the Avs at the half. They were pressing to tie it. The Avs get a power play. It's killed off. 3 shots on that power play. Then there's a too many men on the ice call. The Stars get a power play. The Stars score. It's challenged for goalie interference. They said no, not goalie interference. So Pavelski gets the power play goal from Sagan and Hintz at 12:38. The Stars go back to the power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. So it's 3-1 Dallas after 2 periods. They've been outshot 30-14. It doesn't make any sense. But Ottinger playing pretty well. Third period, early control for the Avs. Makar gets robbed. Avs press at 4 minutes. Then there's a power play for the Avs. I felt like Dallas was playing with fire, that eventually the Avs power play was going to just absolutely throttle them, and the momentum was going to swing. Instead, the Stars killed it off, and they allowed 1 shot. Really good penalty kill by the Stars. McKinnon was then robbed. The Avs press after that. Makar's stick died on a slapper. The Stars did clear it out, so it was nice of Makar's stick to break exactly then. Goalie pull with 3:15 left. The Avs call a timeout with 2:26 left. With 1:48 left, the Stars ice the puck, but with 1:23 left at 18:37, Sagan scores from Benn and Pavelski. So the empty netter puts this one out of reach. Dallas wins 4-1. They go to 26-19-2. They're now 1 point out of the playoffs. I think that's changed. I think they're 2 points out of the playoffs. No, it's still 1 because, they're 1 point back. Because what happened between Edmonton and LA has changed that a bit, but it's still the same number of points to get in the playoffs. Just now they've got extra teams to jump. So Colorado 34-9-4 with the loss. It's their first loss in regulation since 1986 or something ridiculous. So it's not a big deal. Your 3 stars are Ottinger, and Jake Ottinger. Actually, they were Ottinger, Pavelski, and McKinnon. I'm surprised that they didn't give one of the stars to Robertson, but then you wouldn't have had McKinnon, and that doesn't seem right because McKinnon had a good game. Your shots, all Colorado. 14-7 in the first, 16-7 in the second, 17-6 in the third. It got more lopsided as it goes along. Final shots, 47-20 for the Colorado Avalanche. Power plays, Dallas 2 for 3, Colorado 0 for 4. Hits, 23-20 for Dallas. Ottinger, 46 saves on 47 shots. Francouz, 16 saves on 19 shots. So, Francouz gets out goaltended, but honestly, Ottinger stood on his head tonight. Absolutely fantastic night for the kid. And I'm very glad that a year ago, when there was a sale on Cool Hockey, I was like, I'm going to get an Ottinger jersey. There's some risk when it's a young goaltender, but right now, looks like that risk pays off. Anyways, I need to go to the last board. So the story that's changed now is that the Montreal, right, they didn't play today. So Edmonton, with the win, let's see, they are 1 point ahead of Dallas with the win. The Edmonton Oilers currently reside in 3rd place in the Pacific Division. So it bumps LA down, and it actually bumps Anaheim below the playoff line. So for Dallas, they're now behind LA and Anaheim by 1 point. And you could end up in a situation where you have 5 Central teams and 3 Pacific teams, which is what was expected at the start of the season. It's just weird how we get here. So, how we get here, let's talk about it. Smith versus Peterson. It's the Cylon helmets for the LA Kings. Early jump for the Oilers. The Oilers end up getting a power play. It's a 4-minute power play. But, to the credit of the LA Kings, really strong power play. Kills it off. Brown then has a rush chance that's saved. The shots are 4-2 for the Oilers at the half, which, considering that a 4-minute power play seemed low. So, Draisaitl with a rush chance that saved. The Kings press with 4.5 minutes left, and they score. It's Kaliev from Lemieux at 16 minutes. The Kings then had a power play. Iafallo fires one high. Then we get 10 seconds of a 5-on-3 for the Kings. Smith makes a last-second save on Brown. And, yeah, those power plays, they pile up, but they don't do any damage. So it's 1-0 LA after 1. Second period. Early power play for the Oilers. The Kings kill it off. Then they get a power play. That's killed off. Both teams are 0 for 3 already. Then we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Hyman has a net drive that's defended. The shots are 6-1 for the Oilers, 9.5 minutes in. Then there's a near miss by Danault. Kaliev has a rush chance that's saved. Things get kind of pushy after that. McDavid has a shot that's blocked by Roy. Kings were defending first. So this is where it's only 1-0, right? And the Kings were kind of in that shell where, Okay, we'll defend, we'll block, and we'll just make sure they don't get you can't do that against the Oilers. McDavid scores from Puljujarvi at 17:45. That ties it up. Kopitar nearly answers. And then he had another really good opportunity. Smith denies him both times. Kane and Lemieux were unfriendly, and Kane takes a penalty. Lemieux goes down pretty easy, right? And Louis DeBrusque on commentary points out that Lemieux is a big kid, and he gets pushed down pretty easy. But basically, Kane takes the bait, right? Lemieux's trying to shift, disturb as he does, and Kane takes the bait. So we go to the third period with it 1-1. That power play had 54 seconds left to start the period. The Oilers finish the kill. LA then has a penalty that follows, so the Oilers get their fourth power play. McDavid to Nugent-Hopkins doesn't connect. It's killed off. Both teams are 0 for 4. Nugent-Hopkins would score, though, from Foegele and Ryan at 7:44. So it was a nice goal by Nugent-Hopkins, and it was off of a deflected puck over to him. The Kings then get a power play. It's Kane again. And Kane could be heard saying to the referee as he skates by, really bad call. Wasn't happy. Evander Kane takes a lot of penalties. That's something that's been true all the way back to when he was in Winnipeg, it feels. Pretty sure that he's always been a guy who gets a lot of minor penalties. But that's killed off. The Oilers kill that off. No harm, no foul. Arvidsson then has a shot that's saved and held. But Danault ties the game from Arvidsson and Doughty at 11:42 and suddenly tied. And momentum's on LA's side. Smith catches a shot from Kaliev. Doughty was denied as the Kings press. But at 15:14, it's Yamamoto with a big goal from Draisaitl and Kane. There was some debate about whether or not it's Barrie. The app still says Kane. I looked at the replay. I'm pretty sure it was Kane as well that was the secondary assist. If they change it to Barrie, that's okay too. So the Kings press for an answer. They pull the goalie with 2:10 left and call a timeout at the same time. Danault gets robbed, and then they turn the puck over, and Hyman gets the goal from McDavid. Barrie gets the secondary assist on that at 18:35. That makes it 4-2. They pull the goalie again, and it's Evander Kane that gets the empty netter this time from CC at 19:42. The Oilers go into LA. They avenge the 5-1 loss they suffered the last time they played them. They win 5-2. They go to 26-18-3. The Kings 24-17-7. So for the Kings, they are tied in points with the Oilers. All these guys have 55 points, but the Oilers mathematically are ahead of the Kings right now, even though they have the same number of points. So your 3 stars are Yamamoto, Smith, and Doughty. Those are the 3 stars from Sportsnet. I didn't wait for the app to tell me what the app's official 3 stars are, which would be from the LA Kings side of it. Your shots, 11-8 LA in the first, 12-8 Edmonton in the second, 13-9 LA in the third. Final shots, 32-29 for LA. The Kings played a good game, just the Oilers had the shots. And Smith played really well. Power plays, Edmonton goes 0 for 4, LA goes 0 for 5. Hits, 23-19 for Edmonton. Smith saves 30 out of 32. Peterson saves 24 out of 27. The Cylon helmets didn't add up to victory tonight. But yeah, pretty impressive game for the Oilers. They sweep the 2 games in California. And so we'll see what happens with them from here. But it's tough for the Kings because this was their first game in a while. And as an example, like Tampa played tonight. I don't think they play again for another 8 days or something like that. So this schedule is kind of weird. And again, we'll see what that does to the playoff races. It's benefited the Oilers so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.